this morning I am exploring some of the great rabbis from the family of the Alfandari rabbinic dynasty at the moment. I'm not too sure the exact date of the Hilula, but we're exploring a few of the highlights of the great Rabbi Aharon Alfandari Z'tl. To give him his full title, Aharon ben Moshe Alfandari. I believe he was born in the English year 1700 and he passed away in the year 1774. He was approximately 74 years of age. I believe he would pass away in Hebron, Hebron being one of the four holy cities of Israel, one of the great Talmudic writers. Very, very great rabbi, especially from great Turkish heritage. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. It's actually interesting. I believe he was born in Izmir. Remember, Izmir in that day, especially in the 1700s, the 18th century in itself, had a great Torah Jewish community. Izmir in Turkey, respectively. And so he was born, according to one opinion, in 1700s. Somewhere else says in the year Taf Samach Aleph, that would have been 1701, but be it as may, was a great rabbi. He actually came from great rabbinic heritage. His father's name was Rabbi Moshe Alfandari, very interesting enough. And he happened to be, I think, his mother was the daughter of Rabbi Chaim ben Menachem El-Ghazi. Very interesting enough. He himself, the great Rabbi El-Ghazi, was the author of the Torah colossal work called the Bani Chayai, if I'm not mistaken, and very, very great rabbis in himself. His rabbi, while he was young, he would learn under the auspices of, I believe, of Rabbi Benjamin ben Shlomo Halevi, another great rabbi we've spoken about before in various occasions. He himself happened to be a head of a Jewish court, al-Betin, as we say in Hebrew, in Izmir. Very, very great position in himself, and very, very great books in himself. He would also learn under the auspices of Rabbi Barzili Yavetz. Very interesting. He happened to be able to think the Ba'al Lashon Harumim. Very interesting in itself. And while he was young, he would actually, I think, spend some period of time learning in Rhodes, if I'm not mistaken, in Greece. Over there, they had a great Torah community. Over there, he would get, work in business, and he would, I think, become over there the rabbi of the Jewish congregation of Rhodes in of itself, very, very prominent position. And I think he had correspondence also with another great rabbi, Rabbi Moshe Yisrael, at that point in time, who I think was another great rabbi from Rhodes, respectively, in that period of time. So he was very, very well traveled, very well connected, and he would then afterwards, I believe, return to Izmir and become part of the Jewish court in Izmir, respectively, at a later stage in time. Interesting enough in of itself. So we can explore many more details with regards to the great rabbi. So he, just to add on some more information with regards to the great Chacham, he, as we said before, he was a great Talmudic writer, and would later on actually immigrate to the land of Israel after he spent his time period in Izmir, or after he returned and working in Izmir in of itself, in part of the Bet Din in of itself. At that point in time, the land of Israel was part of Ottoman Syria, I believe, at that point in time. And it is famously enough, during his old age, he would meet the famous Chida, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azileh, probably one of the great rabbis of Jewish history, who we've mentioned about on various occasions before. Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azileh was very much part of the same era in of itself. And I think in his book Shema Gdolim, the Chida, the famous Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azileh, states that he got to meet the rabbi, we're talking about Rabbi Alfandari, interesting enough, in his old age in the holy city of Hebron, because naturally we know that Rabbi Alfandari would really dwell and pass away in Hebron eventually. Remember, at that point in time, it was one of the main situation parts in Eretz Yisrael where there was a great Jewish community. And he actually says, enjoyed the radiance of his life, of his light in of itself. Rabbi Alfandari was the first reported over to sign the Chidaz documents, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azileh, or documents his Sharot, affirming him as an emissary to represent the Jewish community in foreign lands. Remember, in those points of times, there would be Shluchei Rabbanan. Many great rabbis would travel to all different, especially North African countries, parts of Europe, and raise funds for various parts of Eretz Yisrael, for various different Torah institutions, and for the Jewish community in itself, and also at the same time Mitzchazek strengthen those communities that they were going to. So he would actually sign his let's say haskama for the famous Chida to go out there. The Chida, and Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azileh lists him as one of the sages buried in the ancient Jewish cemetery in Hebron. It's reported over, actually, just add on another tidbit with regards to important information within regards to him, that his name on the list is displayed on a plaque at the cemetery, although his exact grave site location was lost, I believe, during the Jordanian period. So that's also interesting. So he was Rabbi Aharon Alfandari was really, really very much a great rabbi of yesteryear. And we've already spoken about many of the great rabbis from the Alfandari family, who I would very much recommend everyone to learn about. So it's actually interesting. Let's explore some of the great Torah books that he actually authored, including the work called Yad Aharon, which was a collection of notes on the Torah, the Orach Chaim, I believe. I think the first part was published in Smyrna in the year 1735, and his second in Salonika in the year 1791. That would have been after he passed away. And on Torah Ibn Ezra, if I'm not mistaken, between the year 1756 to 1766. Another great book of his was Merkabet Mishnah, the second chariot, as we say in English. It was a treatise on the first part of Maimonides' Yad HaZakah. He left great descendants also. His grandson, Rabbi Yitzchak Ardit, happened to be a great rabbi. He was author of the great, I believe, Torah work called the Ikar HaErek. I think that was printed in Salonika in the year 1836, and he would actually write a eulogy with regards to the great Chacham Rabbi Alfandari in of itself. Remember, we've spoken about many of the great rabbis in the Alfandari family of yesteryear. He wasn't just other great rabbis. There was other great rabbis like Rabbi Eliyahu Alfandari, Rabbi Chaim ben Yitzchak Raphael Alfandari, the younger one, let's just say, Rabbi Chaim ben Yaakov Alfandari, the elder, the Zaken, Rabbi Yitzchak Raphael Alfandari, Rabbi Yaakov ben Chaim Alfandari, Rabbi Solomon Eliezer Alfandari, who was really, really great rabbinic, one of the great rabbinic dynasties in Jewish history, definitely over the last few hundred years in of itself, which we can't stress enough about the greatness of the family, because they were very, very much a very, very great family, especially from Turkey, were very much dwelling in Greece and various other parts of the Jewish world in itself, and very much, so much we can celebrate within regards to the greatness. I believe Alfandari rabbinic dynasty actually was a family of Eastern rabbis, prominent especially in the 17th century, especially in the 1600s, and in the 18th centuries. Obviously, they were found in Izmir, in Constantinople, also in Jerusalem, so they very much had a strong connection to the land of Israel. Reported over that the name of Alfandari in of itself is maybe derived from a Spanish locality. It was suggested over from Alhambra, if I'm not mistaken, which is also interesting enough. So just to learn about the science within regards to the greatness of the family. You know, many of the great rabbis after his generation, 17th and 18th century, there'll be many great descendants. Alfandari will become very famous rabbanim, including the famous Saba Kadisha, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Notable figures from the Alfandari family, just to add a few more tidbits. There was a man, a great person named Solomon Alfandari, I think from Valencia in the year 1367, happened to be the son of Jacob, I think Alfandari, and he famously assisted Samuel Zarsa in translating the Sefer Ha'azamim. I think it was a pseudo, let's say, Ibn Ezra, let's just say in himself, from Arabic into Hebrew in of itself. Another notable ancestor was Isaac Alfandari. I think he very much lived around in 1529, so very, very much interesting. And what great rabbis and great descendants they had. What a great rabbinic family. Friends, we are a community here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. We've explored about 630 biographies of great rabbanim. We usually concentrate on the Hilula, the date of their passing, on the date of their yahrzeits, the videos of the Chachamim. Today, I'm trying to explore some of the rabbis from the famous Alfandari family as a special edition. I'm not too sure the exact date of passing of Rabbi Alfandari, who we're exploring about here, but he passed away in 1774. He was one of the great rabbis, especially during the period of great rabbanim, including Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azilei, I think Rabbi Chaim de la Rosa, many of the great rabbis. I think the Rosh HaKadosh Rabbi Shalom Shrabi very much lived at that point in time, and he happened to be a very famous rabbi. So wishing you well, friends. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe. If you related to any of these great rabbis, please let me know. And if you feel anyone will be interested in watching these videos, please share to other people. So wishing you blessings from Israel. Take care and be well.